Well, now the president, as we mentioned, announcing that latest plan to really revive housing. It's the same day that the Mortgage Bankers Association announced a record number of home foreclosures. Almost 5% of all mortgages were in the process of foreclosure in the fourth quarter of 2009, and almost 10% were overdue for 30 days. Well, joining us right now with more on today's report is Jay Brinkmann, chief economist of the Mortgage Bankers Association. Jay, good to have you back with us. Let me ask you, we just kind of broke down the numbers. How bad is it when we look at these foreclosures?
The foreclosure numbers continue to be bad. We've got record numbers of people who are both in foreclosure, as you said, as well as people who have not yet been put into foreclosure but are 90 days or more past due, and in many cases much more than 90 days past due on their mortgages. There was some good news in this report, however. The good news is that when we look at the new delinquents coming into the process, those who were just 30 days delinquent, that number has fallen. That number has continued to fall, and in fact, we normally see a big seasonal bump in these numbers when we get to year end. In fact, for the first time, we saw a big decline from the third quarter to fourth quarter. We think that's a pretty good sign for what's likely to happen in the future.
Hey, Jay, do you think, though, that means we've turned the corner here as far as delinquencies and foreclosures, and we do start to see foreclosures start to decline going forward?
I think going forward, we will see it. Now, foreclosures themselves will probably continue to go up for a while just because we have such a large number sitting in this bucket of seriously past due loans on which we haven't yet had foreclosure. A lot of those are loans that are in mediation plans or modification plans, forbearance. Unfortunately, a significant percentage of those are going to end up in foreclosure if history is any record on this. So the foreclosure numbers probably will still go up. But the key number is as the new people come in to the process, that number is dropping.
How about the government programs, Jay? You know, the president making an announcement to help out those states, you know, that have seen their prices fall, what, I think about 20% from their peak.
Right.
Are these plans really going to help the state of Nevada, California, Florida, Arizona?
Nevada's had the highest percentage of job losses over the last 2 years of any state in the country. California ranks pretty high, same with Florida. The key in the housing market really is jobs. In fact, we really see some parallels between these delinquency numbers. First-time claims for unemployment insurance have been dropping since the middle of last year. Just like what we're seeing with short-term delinquencies. The problem with the unemployment market, and that's what's driving these delinquencies, is that about 40% of the people who are unemployed have been unemployed for longer than 6 months now. That's a long time. They're still on unemployment insurance programs. The key is getting these people back to work. And I think that's where the principal attention needs to be.
What about in the cases where the people who are delinquent on their loans can actually get jobs, get back to work, and start earning an income again? Do you think that the banks can work out the mortgages with them to avoid foreclosure? Or
Well, absolutely. If you look at this roughly 2.5, 2.6 million people who are sitting in this 90-day bucket where foreclosure actions haven't been started, that's because the mortgage servicers have been working with them. This includes all the loans, most of the loans in the HAMP program, and all of the other modification programs the servicers have been doing all along. So, yes, boy, if you see somebody who's been out of work, they're back in a job, absolutely the mortgage servicer is going to work with that person to say, what can we put you back on a schedule to, get you back paying the mortgage and keep you in the home.
All right. Hey, Jay, thanks so much for joining us. Jay Brinkmann there,
Sure.
chief economist at the Mortgage Bankers Association.